Hey everybody, today I'm down here in Southern California taking a look at the all-new Subaru Solterra. This is Subaru's first full battery electric vehicle. Let's take a quick look around. The Solterra was developed in coordination with Toyota, so this definitely looks a little bit like the Toyota BZ4X. But the Subaru version is going to be a little bit different. This is going to come standard with all-wheel drive, whereas the Toyota version is of course going to start with front-wheel drive. The styling is definitely different. Lots of black body cladding going on right here around the wheel wells. The front end definitely looks a lot like the rest of the Subaru lineup. Full LED headlights here, LED turn signals as well. Functional vents to help relieve pressure up front and help improve aerodynamics. Since very little cooling is required for a full EV, just a small grille right there, fog lights below as well. At about 184 inches long, this is around the same size as the Subaru Forester, RAV4, and of course the Honda CR-V. This is going to be competing in the same compact crossover segment as hybrids and plug-in hybrids, and Subaru has said that they wanted this to be just about as capable as every other vehicle in their lineup. So they've given it 8.3 inches of ground clearance, and that all-wheel drive system is again standard. Moving to the rear, we have full LED taillights with LED turn signals. A bit of a raked profile here compared to the Subaru Forester, so cargo practicality might be a little bit below that gasoline Subaru. Cargo capacity comes in at 30.3 cubic feet, which is pretty competitive to hybrid and plug-in hybrid options. We have a subwoofer back here on the driver's side, a roller-style cargo cover. The rear seats fold in a 60-40 fashion, and there is a little bit of storage space right here under the load floor. This is where the EVSE that comes with the vehicle is currently sitting. You'll also find a can of Fix-A-Flat in there because no spare tire. This foam divider does come out, but it doesn't give you too much extra room. Subaru has given us a few practical touches back here. The load floor will drop into a lower position to maximize that cargo space. You can also use this sort of as a cargo divider, and this little slot right over here is shaped this way because you can actually take this roller cargo cover and put it right there under the load floor, so that way it's not in your way if you're carrying larger cargo. Now let's take a quick look at the inside. We have a power driver's seat, manual passenger seat, two-way adjustable lumbar support. These seats have perforations in the middle. No details exactly on what the seats are made of, but definitely expect some recycled material content in here. This definitely has a very striking and modern design inside. We have fabric portions of the dashboard here, hard plastics up top, and this very distinctive LCD instrument cluster that's positioned quite far away from the driver. It's a little bit difficult to film here in this strong sunlight, but it looks to be approximately 7 inches in size with some LED indicators on either side of that. When you're driving the vehicle like this, the LCD instrument cluster is actually going to be just above the steering wheel, which is definitely a design touch that I was surprised by. Over here, you can see we have some dramatic styling here. You can actually see that this area is open. You can put your fingers right through that area right like that. The steering column is a tilt telescopic design. It's manual. Paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel. These are going to be regen paddles, but they definitely look like regular paddle shifters from other Toyota vehicles. And the steering wheel itself definitely has a bit of a Subaru/Toyota vibe to it. These controls refer to that multifunction instrument cluster over there. We then have controls for the standard adaptive cruise control on this vehicle. Unlike other Subarus, this is going to use a single camera system. It's based on a lot of Toyota hardware components. We then have a touchscreen infotainment system right here. This is a nice large system. It looks to be probably about 12 or 14 inches. We then have touch buttons here for the heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, climate controls right across there, power button there, electric parking brake over here, brake hold, single pedal drive mode. That's kind of an interesting touch. The shifter, we press down to put into the drive mode or reverse or neutral. There's a drive mode selector there, button for the 360-degree camera system, and autonomous parking. One thing that I was surprised by, however, no glove compartment over here on the passenger side. Although there is a reasonable amount of storage in here. We have a storage cubby right here that has a Qi wireless charging mat, two large cup holders in this area, definitely a large storage area right there behind that, and a nearly flat load floor. Just under the center console, there's a large and capable storage area there with USB charge ports and 12-volt charge ports as well. The rear seats look just about as roomy as the average compact crossover, and one really cool touch is that we have a two-pane moonroof. Although the moonroof does not open, it does have a completely opaque shade, something that I really like in an EV. I really dislike EVs that just have a plain sheet of glass with no cover there. In the center console here, we have two USB charge ports, heated rear seat controls, rear seat air vents for the rear passengers, lots of storage cubbies, cup holders right there, and that armrest, and again, the rear seats fold in a 60-40 fashion. Clearly, I have not been in the Solterra very long, but I found the seats to be pretty comfortable and fairly roomy back here as well. I have about an inch of headroom, even if my head is all the way back there on the headrest. You can see that this dual-pane moonroof stops right about here, so it doesn't go completely over the rear passengers' heads. Now, I have a decent amount of legroom as well. This front seat is adjusted for me at 6 feet tall. I have about 6 or 7 inches of legroom left, so this should be very accommodating for child seats and pretty much anything that you want to throw at it. Subaru uses a skateboard-style battery pack, so we have just a very tiny hump right back here. This is maybe 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch tall. There are some cables and other things that need to go front and rear in an electric vehicle, and that's usually the reason that we have a tiny hump in a lot of EVs, even with a complete skateboard-style battery pack. We have a rear armrest with 2 cup holders in it, and again, those 60/40 folding seats back here. Some EV fans may be disappointed by the lack of a front trunk, but of course that makes the vehicle a little bit more practical in terms of its overall dimensions. The cargo area would have to be a little bit smaller if they were to incorporate a larger front trunk under here. Power comes in at 215 horsepower total, thanks to the dual motor setup, 246 pound-feet of torque, and according to Subaru, the range will be over 220 miles, but we don't have exact details just yet. You can expect more details to come when this is closer to being on sale, which should be sometime in 2022. Over here on the driver's side, we have the charge door. Regular J1772 port there with an onboard charger, CCS DC fast charging below, and a nice touch is that these doors open separately, but if you close them, you can close them together right there using that J1772 connector port. At this point in time, Subaru has not said how fast the Solterra will charge. I expect it's probably going to support around 150 kW DC fast charging and probably somewhere around 9 or 10 kilowatts for the AC charging rate. While we wait for Subaru to bring us more details on the new 2022 Subaru Solterra, be sure and hit that subscribe button down there at the bottom of your screen and we'll get you all those details just as soon as we possibly can. I will also have a video out on the new Toyota BZ4X, which is the closely related Toyota cousin to the Solterra. They're going to be built in the same factory, going to use a lot of the same components, but the pricing structure and the feature set is going to be a little bit different. The Toyota version is not going to come standard with all-wheel drive, and the all-wheel drive system is programmed quite differently. So if you want the more capable off-road vehicle, that is going to be this Subaru right here with 8.3 inches of ground clearance and software that is definitely designed to tackle something that's a little bit rougher than Toyota with the BZ4X.